Welcome Wildcats. Today, once again, we are going to be looking at two different types of inverses. Yesterday we talked about quadratic and square root, so today we'll talk about cubic and cube root inverses. So, once again, you're probably thinking, Matt, we did two yesterday, why are we doing two again today? The answer is the same as yesterday. Because they are inverses of each other, it makes more sense to do them together. Cubic cube root functions are opposites. The inverse of a cubic is a cube root. The inverse of a cube root is a cubic, just like yesterday. So, once again, let's take a look at an example of solving these algebraically. We use the same four steps. Switch f of x to y, change x and y, solve for y, do PEMDAS backwards, and replacing y with f inverse of x. So, let's say our function is x cubed plus 3. Well, changing f of x to y, we get y equals x cubed plus 3. If we then switch x and y's places, we're going to get x equals y cubed plus 3. Now all we have to do is solve for y. So once again, we're going to start with the addition at the end. Addition becomes subtraction, so we'll subtract 3 from both sides, giving us x minus 3 equals y cubed. And the opposite of cubed is cube root. So we're going to have the cube root of x minus 3 equals y. Again, when you take the cube root of both sides, make sure that everything under the left, on the left side, goes under that cube root sign. Finally, all we need to do is replace y with f inverse of x, and we have our inverse. F inverse of x is cube root of x minus 3. Once again, we can just point at where we're coming from. That's where we switched x and y. This is us changing x and y's places. Here's where we're solving, and finally the replacement. Nice and simple. Yesterday, we then took a function and saw the inverse with a graph. Today, though, we're going to look at how you can tell tabularly. That just means with a table, guys. We're going to look at two tables that are inverses of each other. So here's the table of the simple function x cubed. And here is the table of the simple function cube root of x. Here's how you can tell they are inverses of each other. Notice on the first line on the left we have -2 and -8. But on the right, those switch sides. They exactly flip, and we have -8, -2. Well, on the next line down, we have -1, -1. And then they switch, but we can't see that because they're the same number. Same's true for the next couple, but if we go all the way down to the bottom, 2, 8 becomes 8, 2. So all you have to do when you're looking at a table is switch the sides of the table. All the x values become y values, all the y values become x values. So here's a couple major takeaways from looking at this. Just like before, cubic and cube root are inverses of each other. The opposite of cubed is cube root. The opposite of cube root is cubed. And when you're looking at a table, the inverse is when the values switch sides. That's really all there is to inverses, both for cubic and cube root, as well as looking at tables. So with that, you have even more knowledge and even more ability to do your 1.4 homework assignment, but there is still one more set of notes that you might need to go through before you can complete all of the problems. Good luck, Wildcats.